Hello and welcome to Video Game Hangover. I'm Randy Dickinson and I'm in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Hey, I'm DJ Ross. I'm in Mountain View, California.
On every episode of Video Game Hangover, we talk about the games that have been keeping us up at night. This week we're playing Silent Hill F, Ball Pit, and Exit 8. The Exit 8.
The Exit 8.
Yep.
Not any Exit 8.
No, the Exit 8.
Yeah.
Yep. Spooky Happy Halloween. Halloween.
Ooh, yep. There we go.
Yep. Have we ever got the timing where no, we didn't this year either. I was going to say this episode will come out on Halloween, but for like a day off.
Yeah. You know, we could just forget to release it on time.
I mean, we are in control of this. Yeah, just hold it for
now that the episode is out, we're just talking about it. People are listening to us plan the scheduling.
Yeah.
They're like, what day is it? What are these guys doing?
So yeah, happy Halloween.
Yeah.
You played a spooky game. I didn't. You played 2 spooky games. I didn't really.
I played 1.5 spooky games. That's
okay.
Kind of how it always goes.
Man, I hope Silent Hill is the spooky one. Is the full spooky
real
one.
Weird pivot this time. It's just a kart racer. Oh, they finally did it.
That new Silent Hill game is hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, wait, what? Weird. It's no, it's fine. Just trust me. Just go with it. Pyramid Head is there. He's wearing a party hat. I don't know what else he would do.
We have some show business we should get to. We got a lot going on. We have a busy November.
We do.
Stream announcement. Hey, coming up on Monday, November 3rd at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, the spooky season shenanigans continue. I think it's spooky because we will be playing a asymmetrical co-op game called The Past Within.
Yeah, it looks spooky.
Yeah. So the hook here is that 2 players, one is in the past, one is in the future, and you have to communicate with each other to sort of solve puzzles across time. It looks really cool. I'm kind of into it. So DJ and I can flip a coin, figure out who's going to be in the past, who's going to be in the future, and we'll take it from there. Try to solve some puzzles and maybe not die. Hopefully not die.
Do you die in this? I mean, I feel like I tend to die in these, so I feel like I'm probably going to die. I don't know about you.
Yeah. If there is any potential for one of us, what was your frequent death in? What were those co-op games we used to play?
Yeah, in We Were Here. I'm always
We Were Here.
Getting dropped into lava. Yeah. Oh yeah, I froze to death that one time.
Yep.
Just really not a good situation for me.
All right, so we'll see how it goes with this game. But this is called The Past Within. That'll be Monday, November 3rd, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can check that out at twitch.tv/VGHangover.
Yeah, should be good.
Yeah. Kind of a cool approach to kind of the way they're handling co-op too, is because you could play across 2 different devices, even as long as both of you can communicate with each other. It said even one person could be on Android while the other one is on Nintendo Switch and stuff. So
yeah,
I'm not quite sure what voodoo they're doing to make that work, but it sounds cool.
Feels like kind of a Jackbox style setup, which is cool. I like when games
definitely
are able to do that.
What else? Any more Spooky Saturday plans? Should that be on the list?
Spooky Saturday continues. Yeah, it's no longer spooky season, or the big spooky day will have passed. But spooky season continues indefinitely. So I'm still doing spooky streams every Saturday. This week, playing some cult, not a cult simulator, but a sort of a cult themed walking simulator adventure game called Sagebrush. So hopefully that's interesting.
Oh, there is a game called Cultist Simulator. Have you?
Yeah, I mean that's not surprising to me.
That's not the game though that you play.
No, well, maybe if there's time we'll play Cult Simulator. But no, I've been kind of looking at this other one for a while. It sounds pretty unique, so I want to check it out.
Excellent. And then the big main event that we have coming up as a team here is Extra Life 2025.
Yeah.
Game day is Saturday, November 8th. That is not that far away. That is very, very soon. We will be streaming all day and raising funds for children's hospital charities in my community and DJ's community. Bunch of gamers online that day doing this thing. We have some help from folks in our community as well that will be joining our team and raising funds on their own. And it should be a cool group effort to kind of help this big charity here under the guise of streaming video games all day.
Yeah. It's always a lot of fun. It's a busy Saturday, but like you said, it's for a good cause. Get to hang out with a bunch of cool people. Did
we determine our 13th year?
I think it's our 12th year.
12th year, okay.
You can say 13th, though. Yeah, 13. We've been doing this for 40 years. It's unbelievable.
I mean, around the 12th hour of streaming, it does feel like 40 years. But
yeah, that's true.
Check us out on Saturday, November 8th. We're going to start at 8 a.m. Eastern time. I will be online first. Usually start the day with the Slay the Spire daily, but we'll see where the day brings me. And we've got a bunch of other stuff on the list for that day. What are some of your streaming plans for the day, DJ?
I'm going to be checking out Megabonk, which is this, I think it's like a 3D Vampire Survivor style auto shooter that's been making the rounds. I'm kind of curious about it, so I'll be trying that. I'm going to be playing Arcan Age, which is, hey, remember last year when I bought that PlayStation VR thing and used it like one time?
I thought you were joking about that. You actually bought that?
Yes. Now I can't tell if you're serious. I actually bought a PlayStation VR. You wouldn't know if you were listening to the show. But I was like, oh yeah, so I should figure out something to do with it. So this game comes highly recommended to me. It's I've never streamed anything in VR, so it's gonna be a whole thing. It's like I think it's like some kind of survival game, but hopefully be entertaining one way or another. Cool. Hopefully I won't throw up. And then got a bunch of other stuff, including some multiplayer shenanigans with the community. We're going to be playing Peak and, of course, Mario Kart World.
Of course,
yeah. People still playing that game?
I think so. Although I keep reading that more people are still playing Mario Kart 8. But yes, I'm sure there are racers waiting for us at the starting line in Mario Kart World. Yeah,
so that'll be fun. Those will be open. If you want to join in, there'll be more info at VGHangover.com/extralife about when and how to join us. So looking forward to that. It's been a while since I played Mario Kart at this point. I might be a little rusty.
I was traveling last week and I had brought my Switch with me, and I was just sort of going through like, what do I have installed that I can play before the battery dies on my Switch while I'm flying across the United States. And I did a couple of solo races, no Wi-Fi obviously, but sort of raced against the computer and Mario Kart. And I have gotten very rusty in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Oh no. Okay. Well, you've got some time to get back in shape.
Yeah. They've also kind of updated the game a few times, and I've heard they've changed some of the effectiveness of a few of the power-ups and stuff like that. So I'm curious to kind of dig into that and see what Nintendo broke again.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't remember them ever doing that.
Oh, one of the streamers, YouTubers that I used to follow quite a lot when Mario Kart World first came out, Shortcat, I think is his name. Had posted a video about how Nintendo basically effed up with the most recent patch and all of his complaints about it. So I don't know if he speaks for the crowd, but he was not thrilled with the update. But anyways, I'm sure it will probably not be noticed by a filthy casual like myself. But we'll get into the game and play some of that. What else? I want to play Clover Pit. I've gotten pretty far in that game, and I've got a pretty good roadmap to a successful run that I'm sure will go completely sideways when I start streaming.
Of course,
But excited to play that with an audience. And I've been playing, and I think you're going to play Ball Pit too, right? We want to check that out a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you tell me if I should play Ball Pit. We'll find out later.
We'll find out a little later, yeah. Yeah, and plus, there are a lot of hours in the day. I'm sure we'll plug in a few other things between here and there.
Yeah.
So once again, coming up on Saturday, November 8th, we'll be streaming all day, starting 8 a.m. Eastern Time. You can go to VGHangover.com/extra life for some of the details. You can go to twitch.tv/VGHangover to watch and cheer us on. You can go to our Discord if you want to play games with us. We'll have a lot of information there. Links to that at VGHangover.com as well.
Yeah. Should be good.
Yeah. It's always good.
We always appreciate everybody who chips in. Don't feel pressured. We do really love if you just stop by the chat while we're streaming and say hello. That's always fun.
Yeah.
But always a good time. Always one of my favorite events every year.
Yeah. The thing I think I've said for 12 years running now, 13 maybe, is everything is expensive and life is hard. So if you can't donate, we understand. But we'd love to have your moral support and shared enthusiasm that day. And those usually are free. So we'll take it.
Yeah.
What else we got going on? That's a lot. That's enough, I think.
That's enough. Yeah, I've had
I don't know if I can commit to anything else.
I feel like after Extra Life, I always just have to take a weekend to just like blob out, like not do anything.
Yeah. I forget what year it was. There was some year that, like, then after playing games for 12 hours, I woke up the next morning and could not wait to play more video games. And I'm like, oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Whatever happened yesterday must have caught on because
gone too
I'm
far.
usually not this enthusiastic the next morning.
Must have been, I don't know. What game would have done that? Would it be like Slay the Spire? Or would it have been Tears of the Kingdom? It might have been Slay
the Spire. Yeah. What have I done? What game has a daily challenge that I've done pretty religiously? It's probably got to be Slay the Spire.
It sounds like, what was that game with the cards and you're climbing that thing? Oh, what was it?
Must have been Slay the Spire.
Yeah, I was like, pretty sure.
Cool. All right. Should be a good day. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Always a good time.
Looking forward to it. It's always like kind of frantic while it's happening, but still a lot of fun.
Yeah. In the spirit of the spooky season, DJ, I would love to hear you talk about Silent Hill.
So they made a new Silent Hill game.
Yeah. I've heard it's a winner. I've heard it's good.
Yeah.
That has not always been a guarantee with the Silent Hill series.
I was going to say, so it's been a long time since I played a Silent Hill game. The last one I played was Silent Hill 4, which was, I was terrified when I looked this up. It was 20 years ago when that game came out. I enjoyed all of those, the first 4 Silent Hill games, but then like you said, they sort of fell into a weird territory after Silent Hill 4, where they like handed off to other developers.
Yeah.
Other than Team Silent, the original creators, and they were like kind of had a mixed reception. Didn't really play any of those. I especially didn't play that one on the Vita, which was like a top-down dungeon crawler. I don't really know what they were thinking.
Multiplayer dungeon crawler.
Multiplayer. Well, you gotta get your buddies in there if you're playing Silent Hill.
Yeah, that was the last Silent Hill game I played, and I think I was like, that's enough. They clearly don't know what they're doing with this series. I'm not interested in playing anymore.
Yeah, I feel like that was about when Konami just checked out of video games in general, and they're like, oh, we're just gonna do slot machines for 10 years.
It's funny that you said I was in Las Vegas last week for a music festival, and as my plane landed at Harry Reid International Airport in Las Vegas, you could see the giant Konami headquarters off the side of the runway, and I was like, oh, I forgot they were in Vegas. Oh yeah, I forgot they only make slot machines now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they've kind of been coming back over the last few years. Like they had, they did the Silent Hill 2 remake. And then they just did the Metal Gear 3 remake. Man, I mean, a lot of thoughts about just remaking games endlessly. But this one, Silent Hill F, it's a new one. And
it's not a remake.
Yeah. And it's pretty good so far. It's been a long time since I played just a straight-up survival horror game like this. So that has also been kind of just a weird experience to come back to. But I have been surprised how much I've been enjoying it, because when I think about horror games in general, I'm like, I don't like to play horror games or watch scary movies or be scared or just uncomfortable in general.
Wait, aren't you Spooky Saturday DJ? What?
Yeah, but you know how that goes. It's like for this week we're playing that ghost game Pac-Man or whatever. So like I have played a lot of actually genuinely terrifying stuff for Spooky Saturday, but those are like the exception, and I always sort of have to force myself to play those. But like I said, I played all 4 of those original Silent Hill games, and thinking about it for the last like 20 years or so, I was just like, I don't know why I did that, because it doesn't seem like the game I would enjoy. But I feel like playing Silent Hill F has sort of reminded me that, oh man, they're actually really good about sort of easing you in to all the really spooky stuff that happens. Because you, like, in Silent Hill F, much like the other Silent Hill games, you just start out and it's a normal day somewhere. In this case, it's in a tiny mountainside village in 1960s Japan. But you're just playing as this like little girl. Like she's like a teenager. She's not that little. She's just hanging out with her friends. Everything seems fine. And like the first 20 or 30 minutes, you're just wandering around this town. And it's just like all the environments are just incredible because you're in this little village. It's, you know, it's foggy as you would expect from a Silent Hill game. The environments are just incredibly detailed, and they're like all these little alleys and things. And I'm just like, this is such a cool setting. I kind of just want to hang out and, you know, like walk around. It's kind of how I feel, or how I remember feeling at the start of a lot of these games. We're just like, can we just like not do the scary stuff? Can we just have a nice, like a nice video game? That would be very pleasant.
A Silent Hill game with like a tourism mode, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it starts out and it's like almost inviting, but then you know, surely enough, you know, everything starts to get very scary and messed up, and at that point, you're just in it because you've like committed to whatever was leading up to it. So you're just like, I guess I gotta sort of force myself through all this unpleasant stuff so I can maybe get back to the, you know. Get back to that little harmless village or whatever it was. Mm. And then it's such a relief when all the scary stuff goes away. Because in Silent Hill, one of the hooks has been like you've got the normal town, and then there's like the scary version of the town where everything's like rusty and covered in gross like body parts or whatever. And that's horrible. But then eventually, you know, you solve a puzzle or you defeat some monster and everything reverts back to the normal town, and it's such a relief when that happens. And it's just the same sort of rhythm in this, where it's like it's like sort of spooky, and then it gets really spooky and terrible, and then you're safe and everything's like mostly fine, or at least it seems to be. So that felt so familiar. Just playing this again, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that's just how these games sort of worked.
You get a little reprieve every now and then.
Yeah, they really like draw you in, and then you're just trapped in there. And then they give you a little break afterward before all the horrible stuff starts happening again. So I was like, oh, okay, now I kind of understand why I played through all these. And the other thing is like the story in all these games has generally been very good and very kind of unique and psychological. There's always the question of like, is all the terrible stuff like real? Is it happening in the character's mind? Is it just like a dream they're having? And you get the same sort of sense in Silent Hill F. What's a little different about this, and this is surprising to me. I don't think this is a huge spoiler, but at the start of this game, you're just hanging out with your friends, and like that's when the town starts changing and getting eerie. And that to me is different than all the other Silent Hill games, because in those you're usually just like alone. So it was more of a question of like, okay, is the town messed up, or is this guy just going insane? Mm-hmm. But in this, like your friends are there when the heavy fog rolls in, And in this case, in Silent Hill F, it's not like rusted metal or whatever. It's like these sort of creepy, like red flowers and vines that start taking over the town. Like those start appearing. And like your friends are just there, and you're talking to each other and be like, what's going on? We got to get out of here. So it's like, oh, so that's different. Like there are other characters that are kind of in on it this time.
And that sort of transition is a little different than I remember. And I've not played all 4 of the original Silent Hill games, but what I do recall, I think from 1 is it's like you're in a car accident, right? And you wake up and your kid is missing from the passenger seat. So you get out and go look for them, and you wander into this place on the map, which is Silent Hill, where something clearly is going on. So it's like a specific geographic place that is this other. Right. It sounds like the transition to it being scary in the new Silent Hills. And you're not even in Silent Hill. You're not in the town of Silent Hill.
Yeah. So this is very funny when I realized this. So the town you're in is Ebisugaoka, which I don't think is real. I'm pretty sure it's not real. And I didn't give it a second thought. But then when I jumped back into it, and I'm sure you're thinking the same thing when I said that, you're just like, wait a minute. Doesn't oka mean hill in Japanese? I'm sure.
I was not, but thank you. That's generous of you.
I know you're always just like, oh man, what? I don't know where we're going with that. But yeah, it's like a common sort of like town name. Oka is a hill. And I was like, oh my God, does that just mean Silent Hill in Japanese? Which would be, I feel like, a little too on the nose. And it doesn't really. But for a second there, I was like, oh, did they just like directly translate it over to Japanese? Would be hysterical. But no, so you're not actually in Silent Hill, which is the other kind of unique thing. You're just in some other town. And it's like, it was kind of a thing in the first few games that like, oh yeah, there's something actually like weird and going on in this town. Like there was a cult and there are all these rituals that have just messed up the whole town or whatever. And that is not, so far it is not really carried over. I haven't finished this yet. I'm probably like 5 or 6 hours in. And there's still, of course, there's just secrets that continue to reveal themselves. So I don't know if maybe there will be a more direct connection at some point, but it's kind of got its own thing going on. It's definitely a new sort of take on the Silent Hill format in that sense, where it's not actually set in Silent Hill.
So that's sort of playing the greatest hits of Silent Hill, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's got sort of, it's got the fog and the sort of transforming town, and all the monsters are unsettling in similar ways. Like they've got the sort of mannequin style things that move very unnaturally. It's like very familiar, but at the same time, it's very unique that it's in this very different setting, which is cool. Yeah, I'm really enjoying just sort of playing a horror slash. I think of it as more of like an adventure game at this point, because it's a lot of exploration. A lot of it seems to have you like backtracking through similar areas in the town, which is kind of interesting. I'm surprisingly into the puzzles, which are pretty well done. This is actually, so when you start the game, there are a couple questions that ask you about sort of like the difficulty level. It starts you out for the action side of things, like the combat. There's story mode versus hard mode. And like story mode is the default setting.
Oh, wow.
But at the same time, it says like this is recommended for people who are experienced with survival horror games, which is like, that I feel like survival horror games they like trend a little harder than the average game, I think.
Yeah,
and I think that's kind of important for if it's too easy, then it's just not really scary if you're not actually in danger from enemies. But it was interesting that there's not an easier mode. So you're sort of stuck on the default sort of survival horror difficulty. And then you can turn it up even harder if you feel like it. But then for the puzzles, it's a separate difficulty setting, which is, I think it was like, became sort of a common option in the earlier Silent Hill games, where you could just make the puzzles way harder if you felt like it. And the puzzle difficulty actually starts on hard. So I don't know if that means like they considered sort of the default puzzles in the previous Silent Hill games to be like hard versus the story setting. But I was like, oh, interesting. I like, just given the reputation of how difficult the previous Silent Hill puzzles could get if you turn the difficulty up, I was like, I don't know if I want to play it on hard. But since it was the default, I just left it there, and it's been pretty fine.
The thing that I sort of remember about Silent Hill puzzles is they can be very kind of obtuse.
Yes. Yeah.
In a way that, it isn't sort of like a standard like cause and effect button press, open the gate kind of puzzle thing. It's just very sort of, I found this thing, it's in my inventory, I don't know what the hell to do with it. So I will keep repeatedly trying to put it in places and see if that unlocks something or does something. Is that sort of a similar vibe still in the new Silent Hill game, or do you feel like there's a little more of a sense to it?
So far that hasn't logic, really been
I guess, is the right
thing.
word.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there was an issue with the early Silent Hill games and just survival horror games in general from that era. You just get the weird, like point and click adventure style puzzles, where you have a whole inventory full of junk that doesn't like necessarily go with anything.
Geez, I sure hope I need this someday. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's not really any of that. Like occasionally you do pick up like a weird emblem, because you've got to have a bag of emblems, I guess, in any survival horror game. But that's always like, oh, I know, like, I'll just put this into the thing where there was a conspicuous circular slot or whatever. Like, that's obvious that you're going to, like, what you're going to do with that. But so far the puzzles have been, they're not really those sort of inventory style puzzles. They're sort of like, what was the first one? It was, you were at some shrine that had very specific patterns on it, and you had to match up the patterns with certain other objects in the room. There was a creepy puzzle about looking at, or sort of, you had to inspect all these spooky scarecrows, which was very unsettling. But I've been enjoying them for the most part. They're definitely in the vein of like in the earlier games, you would occasionally find like a shelf of books or a bunch of notes or something like that, which would give you clues, and you'd have to decipher what they were trying to tell you. But it's more that style of puzzle that I think the puzzle difficulty is referring to, and not like, oh, where do I, put the green gem that I found an hour ago? Or, that sort of stuff. That's not, it's not really satisfying.
Gotcha.
I'm really curious. I think like...
Sounds like progress.
Yes, yeah. I think they actually did a really good job with the puzzles so far. It's got me curious to go through after I finish the game and try it on the harder puzzle difficulty and see how that changes it. I heard there's some like interesting stuff that this game does with New Game Plus. Like, not to spoil anything because I don't really know what actually happens, but it sounds like it really incentivizes you to play through it multiple times. Like things or like small details may be different in subsequent playthroughs, or you might get more of the story if you play it a second time. Again, as I don't really know what form that takes, but
that's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's a cool way to handle it. If you played the previous Silent Hills a second time, I think you could get like an extra weapon or something. I don't know. That's not quite as interesting as new story information, but it's got me thinking like, oh yeah, maybe I will do another playthrough. Maybe I'll crank up the puzzle difficulty while I'm at it, see how it ends up. And then the other component is the combat, which is it's like fine. It's got
one of the reviews that I read, I think, used the word grueling.
I don't know if I call it grueling.
No,
it's like, I don't know if combat in a survival horror game has ever been like good necessarily. And that's what was exciting about Resident Evil 4 when that came out. It was just like, oh, you can actually like fight now. That's amazing. But like in more traditional survival horror games, in Silent Hill specifically, you weren't a soldier or anything. You were just some civilian most of the time. And they made it a point of saying like, oh yeah, you're not good at using a gun. So you're not even necessarily going to be able to hit what you're shooting at a lot of the time. And I think that was effective. It like really added to the sort of tension whenever you got into a combat encounter. But I felt like also like in those, you would eventually just get into the rhythm of combat where you'd have a big like lead pipe or something. And you could pretty effectively like defeat any monster that you ran into. It was still very tense because it was like, you got to get very close to them to use your pipe or whatever, but kind of got the hang of it eventually. But the key, or one of the key pieces of that to me was like, you could rely on having that pipe. Like you just always had that. If you, even if you ran out of bullets or whatever, for whatever guns you were carrying, there was always the pipe you could fall back on. And it's kind of different in this. First of all, you don't have a gun, or at least so far, I have not found any firearms, which I guess kind of makes sense. Like
yeah.
you're
1960 Japan, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not going to be guns everywhere. And then you do find a bunch of melee weapons, like the pipe is in there. I just found a sledgehammer, which is very exciting.
Nice.
But they all have a durability gauge, so the more you use them, the worse they get, and eventually they break if you don't fix them. Which is kind of just like bumming me out, because that's something I feel like I could always count on just having like that pipe or a knife, but it is a little different because like you don't have that gun. I feel like the gun was the thing you previously had to manage. Like you just had to keep track of how many bullets you had, and is it really worth using them on this one enemy when I might need them later? So I feel like you're doing kind of the same trade-off, figuring out whether you should like hit something with your pipe a couple times, if it's an enemy you could otherwise avoid, and save that pipe for later when it's an emergency. But sort of like in the Resident Evil 4 remake, I kind of just miss the reliability of having that unbreakable melee weapon. So that's something I'm sort of hoping, like maybe if I do a new game plus, maybe they'll just give me an indestructible weapon, or like a submachine gun or whatever you got in like, was it Silent Hill 3? You just had a machine gun in the second playthrough. That was good. And then there's like a parry mechanic. Occasionally there'll be like a little aura around an enemy right before it attacks, and that's your parry window, which is like, oh, we're just doing parries in every game now, huh? Okay. This is kind of weird. It feels like more of a slant towards being an action game than I expect from Silent Hill, but like it's fine.
The parry thing is like a Souls-like thing, right?
It's a little Souls-like, yeah. Which is like, I guess that's just what gamers want. They want to be playing Dark Souls all the time.
Give the people what they want.
It feels like, I don't know. I just like don't. I'm not saying it's like bad, but I don't need Silent Hill to have a especially complex combat system. I just need my pipe. I just need to, keep enemies away. I don't need to be like doing perfect dodges and managing my stamina or whatever.
Right. Is the combat mandatory, or is that connected to one of those sliders where you can kind of make it a little breezier to walk through?
So I'm playing it on the easiest difficulty, which is the default setting. And like, it's fine. It's not super oppressive or anything. I do find myself avoiding enemies a lot of the time just because it's, I don't have unlimited pipe usage. So you gotta manage that a bit. The couple bosses, or one of the bosses I ran into, anyway, felt like it was one of those bosses where you're just not supposed to kill it. And yeah, occasionally there'll be these big monsters where you're just like, I should probably just sneak around this one, because I don't think I would like be able to stand up to it if we just got into a slug match. But yeah, it's been fine. I don't play Silent Hill for the combat. The enemies are there to just make things very tense and kind of surprise you. But I'm not going to jump into this and be like trying to parry everything, get a perfect like no hit run or whatever. I don't know. There are a lot of more jump scares in this now that I think about it. A lot more than I expect from Silent Hill. But I don't know. I keep using those first 4 Silent Hill games as like a basis for comparison. I don't know how much that makes sense because like it's been a while. It's a completely different team making this. I'm sure people have different expectations of a survival horror game these days. But
yeah, right. And horror games in general have changed pretty dramatically over the last 30 years.
Yeah. But I'm just like, a lot of the time, like something will happen. Like whenever something jumps out from around a corner, I'm just like, this never would have happened in Silent Hill 1 or whatever. But overall, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. It's cool. Doing a great job of keeping me interested. Like the story is really good. There's a lot of questions I have about what's going on. Where is this all going? I'm really intrigued by the New Game Plus thing. Plus, it's just just an amazing game to look at visually. Like even aside from the setting, like the atmospheric effects with the fog are incredible. All the environments are so like detailed and just like lush. I don't play a lot of like big AAA games like this, which is another thing. So whenever I do get to see like sort of graphics and visuals on this level, it's kind of like a little treat. So I don't know if that's everybody's experience if you're just playing stuff like this all the time, but man, it really is just like incredible from a visual standpoint.
Huh. What's the experience of playing a game that kind of takes place in like 60s Japan, like a real kind of place and time in history versus, did we ever establish that Silent Hill was in the U.S. somewhere?
It's in Pennsylvania or somewhere, right?
Oh, okay, yeah. What was the name of the town? I know exactly what you mean. There's the town with the coal fire burning below it.
Yeah. I don't know if that was like. Well, I mean, I think they have said somewhere, or I don't know if it may have been in like one of the movies where they had to like place it geographically. But yeah, it's like somewhere in the in the U.S.
Yeah, Centralia is the name of the town in Pennsylvania. Yeah. That caught on fire in the 50s, I think, and has been burning ever since.
Yeah. So I forget what your question was.
What is the experience of playing a game kind of set in 60 Japan versus modern-ish day United States?
Oh, it is like, well, first of all, it's just a unique setting. It's like, I don't play a lot of games set here in this time period. And I also don't know a lot about sort of whatever was going on culturally in 1960s Japan, so that is just another layer of like just kind of learning things. So you play as this teenage girl who doesn't have a great home life. She like hangs out with her friends. She is more interested in like hanging out with her guy friends at school and playing like space pirates and not playing with like dolls or whatever, which is just sort of another thing. Like it sort of gets into like behavioral expectations of like girls and women at the time, which is like, okay, this all seems very plausible. But it's like Silent Hill has always done really interesting stuff in that sort of vein where characters are dealing with a lot of like traumatic circumstances. And this is just another way it feels very faithful to sort of the Silent Hill formula. It's like I said, it's just a new take on it. It's a new character experiencing sort of like Silent Hill circumstances in a different location. And is there anything in it that, spoiler free, obviously, that you feel is a kind of a direct connection to the previous? Is it meant to be kind of a direct sequel? And are there like threads that connect back to the previous games in any way, or does this feel like kind of its own experience? It does. I mean, it feels like it's a completely unique, separate thing.
Cool.
Yeah, which I'm totally fine with. I mean, I don't know how I'd feel like at the end or something if it was like, oh, it was this character all along or something like that. Like, I don't
remember that guy from 30 years ago.
Yes, I don't really need that. I was actually, that was one of my criticisms about the series is they just like went all in on like Pyramid Head at some point, which is like, oh, he's so cool. He's going to be in every one of these games from now on, which I think is kind of like missing the point. And so far, there's been nothing on that level, which is good. I think like after some point, the previous Silent Hill games got a little sort of caught up in their own mythology.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time too, so I think it's probably safe to start from scratch. Right?
Yeah. I like that. I mean, it does feel like a spin-off, I guess, like a side story almost. Although it does feel like they could have just called this Silent Hill 5 or whatever. I don't know what number they would actually be on.
Is that what F stands for?
So it's Hill 5. Yeah, maybe it is.
Silent Hill V.
Yeah. Yeah, I have some theories on what the F actually means in the title, but I'll let you play the game. Figure it out.
Yeah. It's an F like a music flat, right?
Yeah,
Isn't
it's like a fancy-looking F. I don't know if that is significant. It might just be a stylistic choice.
Gotcha. Silent Hill Biohazard.
Yeah, right. Anyway, so it's great to play a good Silent Hill game again. It's been a long time.
I want to play this. I'm excited about this. And there were a couple of things I had read during some of the reviews about the combat and stuff like that I was like, maybe I don't want to play this. But hearing you kind of chime in on it. Yeah.
I'm
intrigued.
I feel like that could be any survival horror game where you're just like, I think the combat is supposed to be unpleasant a little bit, like all the encounters, because like you're supposed to be scared that you could be killed at any moment.
Oh, totally.
So yeah, I mean, I'm glad they don't go too far into it where you're just, Metal Gear Revengeance, counterattacking and parrying and chopping enemies in half. I don't like, there are other tools you have. You can sort of like focus in on enemies and do like a charge up attack that I've not really been using because I feel like I'm fine with just the basic attacks, but also like it just feels like it's like too much combat. I don't really need to have that in this game. Just on my sledgehammer.
Unbreakable, preferably.
Yeah. I really hope, like, I don't know how many new options they give you for New Game Plus, but I hope there's some crazy weapon and there are some setting where you just have unbreakable weapons. Would be great.
It's a machine gun that shoots pipes.
Yeah, pipe machine gun. I kind of, like, I really want to play the New Game Plus thing. I plan on playing this a couple times, so it'd be nice if, you just kind of breeze through the subsequent playthroughs. We'll see how it goes.
Cool.
Anyway, what have you been into?
I've been playing a lot of Ball Pit. It got me to stop playing Clover Pit.
Oh, just the latest in the Pit series of games.
Yes, staying on the forefront of Pit-based video games here at Video Game Hangover. Yeah. So yeah, finally took a break from Clover Pit. Ball Pit is a new one of those, I guess, Balatro-like, Slay the Spire-like kind of games that mixes something that feels like kind of a classic gameplay element with like a roguelike structure. And this time it is a brick breaker game.
I thought this was like Vampire Survivors. It's another Slay the Spire?
It's not Slay the Spire in that it's a collectible card game or anything like that, but it definitely there are like pickups and upgrades and things like that. It has a roguelike structure where you die and come back and start over again.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe that's not a great comparison, I think.
Maybe I just got my wires crossed. I was thinking of Megabonk.
I've not played Vampire Survivors, so I don't have that as a point of reference. It does feel like a bullet hell game at sometimes.
Maybe that's why, because there's tons of balls flying around, right?
Yes. And lots of like the big many enemies that you'll encounter. So the hook here is that there is a I think it's called Balltopia. And the first screen says Balltopia has fallen and something horrible has happened and this castle has dropped into a giant pit in the earth. And adventurers have built an elevator that allows you to sort of descend into the depths. But if you want to get to the castle at the bottom, you have to fight through different levels of really intense, like back from the dead kind of enemies. And the presentation from there is you go down kind of one level into the pit. You have to unlock some things and do some things to unlock future levels. But when you get to the level, it's a runway. It's a straight path in front of you. And enemies are sort of marching towards you in different formations. And you are bouncing your projectile weapons off of the enemies and off of the walls and the back of the field, kind of around the field to try to like take out as many as possible. As you go, you're picking up little gems, and the gems allow you to level up and to get new balls that you can kind of launch into your arsenal. You can upgrade the balls. There's options for fusion and fission, which allow, and evolutions, which allow you to sort of like combine the elements of two balls into one, or to upgrade the effect of one kind of ball. There's a lot of passives that you can pick up too. You can have 4 passives on you at a time, and those have different kind of area of effect ones. And there's passives that cause like earthquakes. There's passives that cause lasers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask because it's got the lasers in it.
I love the lasers. There's a passive that causes a left-right horizontal laser, and there's one that causes an up and down. So if you get both of them in active at the same time, and there's certain like trigger effects that are required to get the lasers to go off, but you end up with this sort of like Tron like laser grid that is just frying enemies up the field as you've got a million little balls bouncing around and you're trying to play Arkanoid.
That was the best. That was like, multi-ball, that's fine, but as soon as I get the laser, it's just over.
There's one, not one, but there's a couple different versions of the laser grid thing that you can unlock too that allow you to combine the laser effects with other weapons. And it's kind of different every time depending on what you're carrying and what the game sort of presents to you as far as fusions go. And I had a fusion that allowed me to sort of marry the laser grid with something called bleed. So as the lasers were going off, like clouds of blood were splattering everywhere. There's one that I did the lasers with like a holy relic. So the lasers went from like neon orange to bright white, like heavenly glow.
Oh, excellent.
And there was like this kind of ascension music would play as they were frying skeletons in front of me. It was great. There's one that sort of, it's like a fire laser and it just lights everybody on fire as you go. So like any combination of lasers with any other thing in the game is super fun and entertaining.
Yep.
So yeah, it's wild because it starts off pretty easy. You've got 1 or 2 balls and you've got no passives and you're just kind of marching forward with 2 or 3 little enemies kind of scattered around the screen. They're shooting at you periodically too. They're pretty easy to dodge. Their moves, they're like projectiles, are pretty slow and pretty easy to track on the screen. But as you get further and further up the path, there's more and more enemies. They're marching much faster. Some of them are moving at different speeds. Some of them have fortifications that require you to hit them multiple times to get them to die or to break down their guard. I'm playing in an ice level now, and they keep putting up ice walls. So you have to have fire weapons that melt the ice before you can even hit the enemy. And you're trying to do all of this while you're slowly marching forward. And anything that sort of gets to you at the bottom of the field takes a huge hit at you. So you have to keep them at a far enough distance to be able to not take sort of like direct attacks by them. Because you can only take a couple of those direct hits at the bottom of the field before you die. And then you have to start the whole process over again with very rudimentary weapons and kind of build up your arsenal and your kind of attack speed and all that stuff over the course of another run, essentially. And then occasionally there are
between runs, or it's like a full reset.
You're leveling. There's a bunch of different characters that you can unlock, and there's a kind of a pathway. And each character has kind of different abilities and different specialties. So the first character that you unlock, and this may be different in another person's version of the playthrough, but my first character specializes in bleed. But he's just sort of a kind of a generic warrior. He doesn't have any specific perks other than any bleed weapons will upgrade faster for him. So it steers you into the direction of kind of a build as you're going. You can pick up all kinds of different options and weapons and upgrades and stuff like that. But anything with bleed for that character is going to be a little bit stronger, upgrade a little bit faster. There's a second character I have I forget what he's called. He's called Itchy Trigger Finger, I think is what he's called, or Itchy Finger. And he's like a sloppy gunman. So he has like a faster rate of fire, but his accuracy is off. So, and he specializes in, what does he specialize in? Fire. So anything with fire weapons is going to upgrade faster. So you pretty quickly with him, you're spraying bullets all over the place. They're lighting skeletons on fire as they're marching towards you. And then there's a third one who's like a holy warrior. So any holy weapons or blessed weapons are going to upgrade faster. And that's as far as I've gotten thus far. It takes a lot of successful runs to be able to unlock new characters. There's also a base building element to it that when you get back to the top of the kind of the elevator, the top of the pit, you're building a village around the hole that Baltopia has fallen into. And you're placing hideouts and bars and wheat fields and forests, and you're sending characters up, and it's a ball bouncer game too, to farm these resources or to build hideouts for new characters to hopefully solicit them to come to your town, and things like that. So you get one move per round to like shoot a ball into the grid that you're making of new upgrades and stuff like that. So you're trying to like lay them out in a way that feels fortuitous, and you can kind of bounce the ball to like collect a little bit of wheat, collect some wood to build new fortifications, but also bounce it into the hideout where the thief is, so you can unlock him for the next round, and et cetera, et cetera. So I like that part less. I wish there was, I've looked in the settings for something that's sort of like, can I get the base building to just autoplay? Because I don't care. Because I just want to keep going back to the ball pit and playing the Arkanoid game.
Even if it's just, you just launch it once?
Yeah, because like I feel like I'm not maximizing it. Like I feel like, geez, as I'm putting down new buildings, and you can rearrange them later, and there's no cost for rearranging them. But like I'll fire it, and the little guy will go up, and he's collected 2 wood, and I'm like, great. Now it's going to be 40 minutes before I can do that again, and it's just it feels very slow, and it doesn't feel like I'm sort of playing that part of it right. So I've looked on Reddit for like what's the best way to lay out all the village stuff, so I don't have to think about it too much. So I find the base building less exciting than the actual core bounce brick breaker kind of gameplay below. So that part below too, like I said, feels a bit like a bullet hell, because it is ultimately you're firing off 6 or 7 or 8 little balls, and each ball can hit something and break into multiple little. The game calls it baby balls. And those will start bouncing around too. Some of them are on fire. Some of them are shaped like bats or other projectiles. So there's all this stuff that you're doing. You're shooting out into the field, flying around, bouncing off of things, lighting on fire. Lasers are going off. Blood splatters are splaying everywhere. All the enemies are marching towards you, and they're throwing spears or shooting bows and arrows at you.
Oh, they're also shooting at you.
Correct.
Okay. I thought it was maybe just they were, once they get to the bottom, they hit you or whatever. But you're dodging the whole time.
Correct. Yeah. And hopefully they don't get to the bottom. Hopefully you're sort of like thinning the herd before they even get halfway down the screen. But occasionally there will be giant boss monsters that will come up in the parade towards you. The first one is a giant skeleton that sort of crawls out of the ground. It is not the 12-foot skeleton from Home Depot, but it could be. They could do a crossover thing if they wanted to. And he throws bones and arrows at you, and the arrows have like a wavy formation that you have to sort of like dodge between, like not dodge really, you're walking between gaps in the arrows as they're slowly flying across the screen. But then there's another row of them behind it and 2 more rows behind that. So you're kind of weaving up the screen while you're also simultaneously shooting and bouncing balls and causing lasers to go off and killing skeletons. So it is a lot of like, holy cow, there's a ton of input you're trying to manage while you're also trying to walk between waves of bones and arrows that are being shot at you.
Are you like stuck moving just left to right, like an Arkanoid or something, or can you also move up and down?
up into the play field, and sometimes it's to your advantage to get closer to things. And you'll pick up weapons too that are like, this is stronger when you attack from the left. This is stronger when you attacked from the right. I got an upgrade that does as wherever your ball bounces and causes damage, whatever row you're directly standing in front of takes 2x damage. So I try to make sure like, oh, this one is like, back-to-back enemies, and I'm not going to be able to break their fortification. So I'm standing in that row while also trying to shoot left and right and bounce the ball around, because I know that it's doing secondary damage to the row in front of me. So like there are little upgrades and things that happen throughout the course of the gameplay that influence where you want to stand. And you're also trying to move around and pick up all of the things that will allow you to upgrade and do your fusion and fission upgrades and stuff like that. So no, you're not, it's not like a paddle game, like where you're Arcanite, you're just moving left and right and bouncing a ball directly back. You actually don't have to do any precision catches. You don't have to like bounce the ball back up into the field. It comes to you automatically. So the good news is maybe there's a setting, but you don't have to think too much about the catch. But you do have to be very conscientious about like where you shoot the ball, because you could shoot the ball directly at an enemy and it could bounce directly back to you and you've done 1 damage. But you want to get it into the spaces in between so that it goes further up into the field and it just ricochets and bounces. Right, exactly. Hold down, I think, was great for that. You're looking for like the little spot where you can just sort of sneak a ball in and it could bounce around and do 500 damage, and you just kind of have to stand there. So yeah, there's a lot of strategy to it. There's a lot of input. It's certainly like a busier, more like combat focused game than I generally like. But if you could not tell from my enthusiasm here, I'm super into it. I think it's really fun. And I'm liking it more than I thought I would like it.
Yeah. I was going to ask how you were doing with the bullet dodging, because it doesn't seem like something you typically play.
Yeah, it took me a few tries to sort of get through that first boss. I was really good at getting kind of through the parade, essentially, of skeletons up to the big skeleton boss. And there are little mini bosses that you'll encounter on the way that sort of test you, and you'll start to learn some of the patterns and stuff like that as you go. But I got wiped probably 5 or 6 times just on that first mega skeleton. And I was like, all right, I need to take a deep breath. And like, this is me, again, flying across the United States on an airplane, where I, like a dummy, decided I'm going to try to play this game. And I beat the skeleton boss the first time mid-flight, and I probably said yes really loudly on the plane. It was really good. So again, sort of the roguelike nature of it is you get better at it the more you kind of throw yourself against the wall.
Yeah.
And you're also leveling up. So you're getting, faster upgrades on the bleed stuff. You're getting faster upgrades on X, Y, and Z. You're not carrying any weapons or upgrades or anything over with you, but you are leveling the character's ability to exploit that specialty that they have. And then the stuff that you're doing in the village, the base building element, is also unlocking little perks. So there's something, I forget what it is. When you finish a level for the first time with one character, it builds a little like memorial, a little statue in your village up top. And if you bounce a ball off of that during the course of that 1 per round gameplay, it increases like your effectiveness with future characters by 0.8%.
Yeah. Okay.
So the goal obviously
like
is
the meta progression in Vampire Survivors, where you
really?
You can upgrade certain things to be like just slightly better. So eventually, like, if you do that to everything, you get a considerable advantage, but it doesn't feel game breaking, at least not at first.
Right. Well, that's the thing I'm thinking is that there's, I don't know how many total characters there are in this game, but say there's 15. Like when there's 1 or 2 or 3 unlocked, like I have right now, that 0.8 is not doing much. But when I have all 15 of them open, it should be awesome. I'm looking forward to, I'm eager to go further depths. I'm eager to add new characters and stuff. And it keeps the thematic element of each different layer to the pit is a little bit interesting. The second one is an ice world, like I said, and they keep building ice walls. And there's little spots of slippery ice that your character can slide across. And it sounds like a bit of a disadvantage, but it actually increases your movement speed by like twice as much. So you can still slip and still shoot simultaneously. So I'm trying to use the ice patches in a way that allows me to get across the field much faster. While also simultaneously shooting. I also found there's auto shoot button. You could just turn it on and your
Mm.
character will shoot forever and you don't have to think about it. And I'm like, that is much better because my finger hurts. So I
Oh,
just turned
okay.
auto shoot on, and you're constantly firing as long as the balls are coming back to you.
That's so funny. I think like that became a thing in certain like 2D shooting games where it's like, oh yeah, no, you're just like always firing. Which, yeah, I think I had the same, well, maybe it's a slightly different reaction, but I'm just like, I'm playing this so I can push the button. I want to be shooting, but I guess like effectively it's the same thing. So why wouldn't I just be shooting all the time? And then you can focus more on like the dodging and positioning, I guess.
Each character has a very specific rate of fire anyways, so you're probably not going to be able to hit that trigger faster than the auto shoot is going to allow that character to go anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah. And there's a couple little quality of life things in it too. It's got a really killer soundtrack, so I've turned down some of the enemy groans and chanting and stuff like that, and turned up the thumpy electro goth baseline music that they have going in the background. There's a couple of other conveniences that you can kind of turn on and off to, just to make it. You can slow down the speed of gameplay. So if you're struggling to get through the waves of bullet hell projectiles coming your way, you can slow all of that down in a way that feels a little easier to navigate. I fortunately have not had to touch it thus far, but that is an option in the settings, accessibility settings too. So if this sounds a little too chaotic or a little too crazy for a gamer, there's a couple things that you can tweak in the settings to maybe make it a little more consumable.
Oh, that's nice. Eventually, can you put on like 2x speed and just like burn through all these different runs?
It does have a fast mode. As you're selecting the level, you can hit right on the little trigger buttons, and it allows you to get to. I've not done anything in fast mode, but that is an option. And there are perks that come with that too. If you beat all unlocked levels in fast mode, you get X additional bonuses and things like that come your way. So anything that you do that is like a push pull, it does sort of give you some little reward, some little tag that allows you to kind of be a little bit stronger for the next run, be a little crazier for the next run.
That's cool. This is sounding more and more like the sort of progression of the options in Vampire Survivors.
Okay. So again, I'm missing that point of reference. Obviously, have not played that game, but and I have seen reviews of Ball Pit are comparing it to, Bullet Hell, Belatra-like or type of games, and also Vampire Survivors quite a bit. But I don't have that one in my repertoire.
Oh, you gotta play Vampire Survivors.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like I don't.
Also $5 too, right? So I should.
Yeah.
It's dumb that I've not played it.
I forgot. I don't think they like published it. I don't think they're doing that. Like Ponkel, the Vampire Survivors developer, but I think they did. Like when it came out, they were like promoting it, or they had some sort of like tie-in with them. So
they were promoting.
That's what I was thinking. They were promoting Ball Pit. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
it does seem like kind of the thing, like, oh, if you're into Vampire Survivors, maybe this is the next thing you should do. It does sound a lot like that.
And in Vampire Survivors, there's like an auto shoot, because I always confuse it with like, what is the game I think of when you talk about vampires? It's like, was it called Berserk TV? Mad TV?
Oh, Smash TV.
Smash TV.
Yeah. That's
the game I have in my brain.
Yeah, I think it gets a lot too, like that, or like Robotron or whatever.
Sure, Robotron.
You're never. It's like all auto fire, so you're really just moving your guy around. There's like some thought you have to put into it, because when it starts out, you don't have a very high rate of fire. So, like if you can only shoot a knife in one direction, you have to kind of like steer your guy into the direction that you want him to shoot. But eventually you just get a bunch of like homing weapons and stuff that shoots like 360 degrees around you, so it's less important.
Gotcha. Maybe I should check out Vampire Survivors.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I know you've been a huge fan. I just never quite saw the appeal, but there have been enough comparisons to Ball Pit that maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah, throw it on that Steam Deck. Yeah. Or it's on everything at this point.
It's true. But yeah, Ball Pit, it's been super cool. I've been super into it. Like I said, it is the only thing that has broken the Clover Pit obsession for me over the last couple of weeks. So I would recommend. It's on most things. I'm playing it on, what am I playing it on? I'm playing it on my Switch, Switch 2, but I know it's on Steam Deck as well, and therefore it is on Steam. But I believe it's also on like Xbox and PlayStation 5 as well.
I might check this out during Extra Life if there's time. Seems like would be good for a few runs.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Nice.
What is the Exit 8, DJ?
Yeah, I really want to talk about this game. I think it's like one of like my favorite games that I've played in recent memory.
Oh, wow.
I was really surprised by how much I enjoyed this. It's kind of like a walking simulator. Like all you do is walk, really. So I guess that, fits the description. I don't want to say too much about it because it's kind of like a mystery sort of puzzle game. But I do want to just like describe what you're doing, because I think like it could potentially be very unclear what's supposed to happen or what you're supposed to be doing or how it works. And I've heard stories of people just like not understanding it and kind of bouncing off it, which is unfortunate because it's really, really good. The premise is you're in a subway station. It's like pretty clearly like a Japanese subway station. All the signage and everything is in Japanese, or most of it is, unless there's like occasional English characters. That doesn't really matter. The premise, so what they introduce in the game is there's this sign. You see, it says, "Don't overlook any anomalies. If you find anomalies, turn back immediately. If you don't find anomalies, do not turn back." And then go out from exit 8. So the idea is you're sort of stuck in the subway station and you need to escape. You need to reach exit number 8. And you do that by sort of walking down this hallway. And as it says, you look for anomalies, which, like, the game is rendered in a way that looks very photorealistic. So it just feels like you're in a real environment. And what they mean by anomalies is just, like an anomaly, something that's weird or out of place. And here's what I don't want to spoil, because like most of the enjoyment of this game is figuring out what is like not right in the environment.
Oh.
So you like start walking down this hallway and you like observe the posters and stuff on the walls, and every time you find yourself in this hallway, there's like a guy, there's just like a Japanese like salaryman kind of guy who just walks down the hallway. But other than that, that's like really all that's going on. And it's up to you to figure out, like, is there something wrong with this hallway? Is this a normal hallway, or is there like something weird going on? And if it's normal, you just continue. But if there's something weird, you turn around and walk the other way. And here's the thing, either whichever direction you go in, you just end up back in the same hallway. So it's kind of like a loop. But if you make the correct decision, the sign on the wall, you start out at like exit 0. It updates to like exit 1 if you go the correct direction, if you correctly identify whether or not there is an anomaly. So the goal is you walk the correct way 8 times in a row, and you're able to escape. But it's like, okay, so again, without giving away any of the anomalies, because that's like the best part of this, it's just up to you to figure out like what's wrong with the hallway, what's wrong with the station this time, if anything. And like the first couple loops through the hallway, it's very mysterious because you just don't know what to expect. Like, what is it talking about when it says anomalies? Like, what sort of thing could be different? And a lot of the fun of it is sort of just like discovering what can change. And there's like a whole range of things. Like sometimes it could be like a little detail. Sometimes it's very obvious what's different. Sometimes you just like get into your head and start second guessing yourself. Like, is this normal? did I miss what's different? It's like it's really unique experience. It was so much fun to
So
go
it's not
through
always
this hallway.
obvious like what is an anomaly and what is normal. And is that the puzzle to a degree?
I think like if you see something, it's like pretty clear when you found an anomaly,
Oh, okay.
but they're not always conspicuous. So you really have to like in some cases really scrutinize every. Well, I mean, do you have to look at every inch of the station? I don't know. How subtle can they get? That was one of the questions that I was like dealing with the whole time.
One tile is loose in the hallway, and
Yeah, well,
is
so
that an
that's the
anomaly?
thing. I was just like, how closely should I be looking at all these tiles? Are they
Right.
going to do that to me? Like, oh, this was a slightly different color. And that's like, that's part of the mystery, I think. But I just thought this was so fun. Sometimes it was just like, you'd be staring at something so closely and then turn around and there's like, oh, like I should have noticed that. It's clearly not supposed to be here or something. And then there's just like the sort of suspense as you turn the corner and you think that you're going the right way, and then the exit sign resets to 0, and you're just like, oh, I missed it, whatever it was. So I'll be more careful next time.
Gotcha. And so is that, do you fail the game, then you have to start over, or what are the...
Yeah, well, then you have to, it resets, okay. So you have to find 8 more things, or, you have to navigate the hallway 8 more times.
It resets you back to 0.
Yeah, which is like, it's not really a huge setback, because it's like a short hallway. you just like walk 50 feet to the end and find out whether you're right or not. There were a few times, though, where I would I'd get up to 6 or 7 and then get set back to 0. It's like, oh man, gotta be more careful. I just thought that was so fun, though. There's not really any other game I played that's similar to this. I think like, if you played like a prop hunt style game or like the Assassin's Creed multiplayer where like the goal is to sort of hide out and be conspicuous. Like maybe that gets close to it because you're just like, what is off about this situation? But just something about the way they set it up in the X8 is so like, it's like funny a lot of the time when you find whatever the anomaly is. When I was playing this on Spooky Saturday, because I was like, I feel like this could potentially be kind of a spooky game. And I'm like, I don't know if this is a spoiler or not. It's not terrifying. I wouldn't say it's a horror game. There are some anomalies that are like unsettling compared to others, but it's probably not. Well, there may be some that were a little spooky, but I wouldn't say it's a horror game. It's just sort of like a surreal walking simulator.
Is this like a liminal spaces thing?
It is a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit backrooms or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you're not, it feels like you're not supposed to be there, maybe.
Gotcha.
But it's so good. It's so good. And now I'm so disappointed because I found all the anomalies, and now if I try and play it again, it'll just be pointless because I just know everything.
You know what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'll just be like, well, this is, okay, which is it going to be this time? So I feel like I just can't play it again, which is kind of disappointing.
This is on Android, and it's in the Google Play Store. It's only $3.
Oh, it's on everything. It's on it's like on Switch, I think.
That's
there was a VR version, I think, released on Steam, which I don't know if that would be good. But
I've heard you have those VR setups.
Yeah, it's somewhere around here. I don't know if that would. I mean, when I thought it was a horror game or potentially a horror game, that's not something I'd want to play in VR. But I think it might have been okay. The developer made a sequel to this shortly after this came out called The Platform 8, where I think you're on a train car, and it's the same sort of situation. But then they've said, like, they've kind of, like, they don't want to just make this type of game forever. They're back to working on their normal stuff. But so I'm so excited that there's a second one of these out there that I can play, because it's incredibly unique, and it was really fun to check this out.
Cool.
So yeah, I think like it's not super long. It's kind of a weird offbeat experience. I think you'd be into it.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm traveling again this week, so I need portable games. So I will have to maybe check this one out too.
Yeah. Me like leaning in real close to your Steam Deck trying to figure out what's going on.
The good thing I got the OLED.
Yeah. I was thinking this is going to maybe be like PT, the Kojima Silent Hill tie-in.
Oh, yeah. Thing,
yep. Which I never played. After I played this, I watched a playthrough of PT just so I could figure out what's going on. And it's like, it's kind of similar, but like in PT, you kind of have to do really specific things to progress, I feel like. Did you play PT? I can't remember.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's still sitting on my PS4, actually.
Oh, wow. Lucky you.
Yeah.
In this, it's, you're just walking up and down the hallway, so you don't really have to interact with anything. It's just, you just observe and walk one way or another, depending on what you see.
Whether or not what you're seeing is anomalous.
Yeah. Oh man, I really want to like just spoil all the anomalies right here because a lot of them are so good. But
is it the same every time? It's scripted? I presume it's not like a randomly generated kind of thing.
I don't think they give them to you in the same order. Like there's a sign as you progress. I think after you've already cleared it once, that will tell you how many unique anomalies are remaining. So I was like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, I got to get all of them.
Right.
But I don't know if it always gives you like the first one is the same in every playthrough for everybody.
Well, cool.
Oh, it's so good though.
I had never heard of this. What a weird little thing. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the Exit 8. It's on everything.
Nice. It looks like there's also a horror movie called The Exit 8. Are they related?
They made a movie based on it. I'm trying to figure out how I can watch it. It's just weird circumstances around this game.
I Googled it and it's like, do you mean the game or the movie? And I'm like, oh, is there a movie?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
I don't really understand how you turn this into like a 90-minute movie, but I'm really curious. I want to check it out.
Hey, they made Angry Birds into a movie.
They did. Yeah.
All right. We should wrap this thing up. If you need any more video game hangover in your brain, you should follow us on Blue Sky, where we're VGHangover.com. You can always get show notes and links and tell us what you thought about this episode at VGHangover.com as well. We would love for you to join us on Saturday, November 8th for Extra Life. We'll be streaming games all day and hopefully making a little bit of money for children's charities in our areas. Make sure you go to VGHangover.com/extralife for more information on that.
Yeah.
We'd love for you to join us on Discord. You can get updates on all of our upcoming events and streaming plans and all kinds of stuff. You can chat with us about video games. We have an awesome little community over there. You can get a link to that at VGHangover.com. And we would love for you to subscribe, rate, and review us on your Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, and anywhere else you can find a podcast. And maybe help us out with a little referral to your friend. Tell them about the show, please.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. Helps us get the word out to more people, bring in new listeners. It's great. Tell your friends to hang out during Extra Life. We're going to climb a whole mountain, maybe.
Hopefully.
We're going to fall off a whole mountain.
Yep, that's probably more like it.
Yeah. Anyway, we want to give thanks again to RJ Lake this week for our intro and outro music. If you'd like to hear more of his work, you can go to spellmynamewithabang.bandcamp.com. And the whole thing.
Awesome. We'll be back on Monday night when we're streaming The Past Within. That is Monday, November 3rd at 10 p.m. Otherwise, we'll be back on Extra Life Day. We'll be back in your ears a week later with another podcast, recapping Extra Life Day. We're doing all the things. Only gets a little more chaotic towards the end of the year here.
Oh, yeah.
But all good stuff. Until then, this is Randy Dickinson.
This is DJ Ross.
Thanks for listening to Video Game Hangover. Goodbye.
Good night.
See ya.